Got a chance to see Shut In opening weekend, and it wasn't exactly what we thought. Here's our review.
Of course, we have to warn you right up front, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go check it out and come on back. All right, we're back, and...
Before we start,
yes?
just gotta say, gotta do a disclaimer here.
All right.
And we have never said this before, so I think you can guess the magnitude of what I'm about to say.
It actually is important. Yeah, now you mentioned it.
We saw this movie opening night,
Yes.
Friday night, November 11th.
Yes.
And our theater experience was absolutely horrendous.
Wow.
There
that's
were
an
groups of
understatement.
teenagers. There was a group of teenagers in the same row we were sitting in. They straight talked through the whole movie on their phones, yelling. Not even, you know what, you want to scream at the jump scares, that's cool, but...
That actually adds to the experience for me. I love going to see a horror movie, where, especially R-rated ones, where like the youngins have snuck in and they jump at the jump scare.
That's fine.
That's
So,
fine.
I accept that. No, this was straight up
Was not
talking,
that.
yelling. They were running back and forth in front of the movie theater.
Yeah.
It was so bad we're going to mention it because it colored kind of what happened for us in the movie.
Not a lot, but enough that we felt it worth mentioning.
So go see a matinee when all the little shits are in school.
Yeah, but basically...
Anyway.
Getting back to it, ostensibly the plot of the film is pretty simple. Naomi Watts' character sends her 18-year-old son away. Stepson, away, maybe boarding school or something like that. Dad's driving him away. They get into a fight, car accident, boom, dad dead, and 18-year-old is unresponsive. So feeling guilty 6 months later, Naomi Watts is taking care of him in a sort of remote house up in a snowy area.
Yeah, she's got her psychiatry business right there.
Kind of going. Impending storm is coming, which will leave her shut in.
Normally this part kind of scares me, asking what his likes were, because they're few and far between. But I will ask, did you have any likes for Shut In?
There was a couple, shall we say.
Okay.
And they were minor, shall we say? No. One of the, we'll get to it, but believe it or not, I got a very nice, warm, fuzzy, Shining vibe off of this movie. Not a direct rip or take or anything like that, but just to whoever...
Someone was inspired.
Whoever wrote this definitely is a Shining fan, so am I, so thank you for that. Moving on. Next to that, believe it or not, the little boy, and the little boy, the little 7, 8, 9-year-old, whatever he was mute, and to me that was great because it means he didn't have to try to act. Because kid actors suck balls, so the fact that he didn't have to do that, he just had to emote, and he wasn't bad at emoting. I thought was a good plus for me. And I think, yeah. All right. Well, okay. You want to jump in?
Okay.
All right.
I will. I do also agree on the Shining vibe, especially when he was dragging the hammer down the wall. Very, very awesome.
Yes.
Cool, thematic, loved it. Anyway.
Yeah, see?
And then this is a sort of an interesting but being from the north, if you are not from really, I guess, the Northeast or somewhere that it snows, if you've never been around...
Outside the Northeast, go ahead.
But it doesn't snow like in the West, really.
Northwest it does.
If you're from
Central.
place where it doesn't snow, which is like half the country.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
Bottom half of the country.
Third. Go ahead. Poor Cthulhu. Don't take it out on him.
Anyway, if you're from a place where it doesn't snow,
You guys talk.
you may not be used to snow. And there is some sort of a stereotype with people who have never seen snow before. That they think it's fun and light and fluffy and it's
like
great
a
to
big
play.
marshmallow.
Yeah, it's a marshmallow and it's lovely and joyful.
It's
not. And being, at least I'm from, the Northeast, and I have 100% gotten snowed into my house.
Yes.
And I didn't even realize until she tried to escape and the door was shut.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, that's right. It snowed. You're stuck in the house.
You are.
That happens. It's true. And I thought that was a way better explanation than anything supernatural.
True.
It wasn't demon forces. It wasn't a curse. It was a legitimate thing that happens to everybody when it snows.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Actually, originally from the Midwest, and we had snow as well. So it's not just north. mid as well. Regardless, just
I
throw
just
that
wanted
out
to
there.
talk about the movie.
That's
I
fine,
really
that's
did.
fine.
I just wanted to talk about the movie.
We'll do that in that case. What else? Anything else that you like besides snow?
Well, actually, the concept and the plot twist I thought were really, really
Well, all right, do the
Awesome.
plot twist first. Do the plot twist first.
plot twist. Okay,
Yeah.
well, obviously you've seen the movie. The plot twist is
Spoiler review.
stepkid in love with mom.
Yes.
Whoa!
That was
Crazy!
There was some potential there.
There
I'll
was.
say that. Maybe more later, but for right now, there was potential there. Yes.
And even with that, for me, I loved the plot twist. I'm going to continue my thought in the dislikes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the trailer, we have a reaction to,
Yes.
had nothing, like, completely misled you.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, they're supposed to if there's a twist, so
Yeah,
I
that's
accept
fine.
that. The other reason that it misled you, which is kind of technically alike, is that plot twist actually occurred in the middle
Yeah.
of the movie as opposed to the usual end, further crippling the trailer, but further kind of presenting a different approach that was sort of a plus in my column.
Well, I thought this movie was going to be a supernatural-based movie because it
from
did
the
have
trailer,
a
it
very
seems that way, yeah.
what else is in the house with her. So I really didn't see that coming. And I did like the kind of stepkid in love with mom.
Mm-hmm.
We're together. You've been caring for me, so you're in love with me. I'm in love with you.
And
That's
they're
actually
nuts.
nuts, but you know what? It is scary. It's like
Believable.
Believable. It's a
Believable.
horrifying concept.
Yes.
I think it was way better than just oh, he's possessed or
Right.
someone put a curse on
There's
him.
something in the house.
Yeah, it's a
Again.
real life horror. I like it. It was something that's not done very often in horror movies that come out.
No, that's
So I really appreciated it.
small points for originality.
Yeah, again, I will continue that thought in the dislikes, but it was very different than what we expected and what a lot of movies do. Okay, I'm not even gonna let you start or let you talk about anything because I want to
Very
continue
nice.
what I was saying.
Go ahead.
I did promise in the likes I would continue my thought in the dislikes.
Yes, okay.
My dislike is there was no hint to the plot twist. And that made it a little unbelievable to me.
Right.
And it didn't have to be a big hint. They didn't have to come out and say it. But I do wish, Naomi Watts had been talking to either her assistant or someone maybe about his previous inappropriate behavior.
Yeah.
And with no real detail about it or why they were sending him away with his actions. Hinted towards something inappropriate.
A couple scenes where he was looking in on her in the bathroom or something.
Yeah, just a little here and there, a little whisper of something, because I
Yeah.
felt like when he came out and said, "I'm in love with you," I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
wait, what?
But not in a.
How did that happen?"
Not in a good way. It
No.
was too sudden.
Too sudden.
You were
Good word.
like, that just came out of left field. And then the other thing about that actually that I wanted to mention is that in America they're just not going to do it because they're whims, but they made it clear from the get-go that they were step relatives, because if they weren't, if they were blood relatives, then
Even creepier.
it'd be even creepier. You see the difference, America? It happens.
Go the whole way.
Go hard or go home. That's it's the gym motto, it's the life motto. And it is. I mean, and you can't say it doesn't happen. It does. And it would be, she's horrified that her stepson is madly in love with her. It's your own son? That's Freakoutville Central. I mean, that's ridiculous. So that was a bit much for me.
But great plot twist. But just talk about it.
Yeah, basically. Although there is a little asterisk with that plot twist that I had issue with.
Uh-oh.
Yes. That is the fact that, I kind of mentioned this before, you establish your movie taking place in a certain canon.
Yes.
And then you operate within that. So if you're in sci-fi space, you can kind of do stuff that you wouldn't be able to do normally. If it's supernatural, you can do stuff that you wouldn't do normally. They grounded this in reality. They said
Firmly.
it's not supernatural. Okay?
Firmly in reality.
So it's reality. Well, guess what? In reality, you can't fake being non-responsive for 6
that long.
months. No, there's a battery test, a litany of things that could be done. You're gonna screw up at some point, some way. Your mom's ostensibly a psychiatrist. She's got a business doing with it.
There's other people in and out of the house.
In and out of the house that would never catch the mess. It's just it stretched all credibility and snap, broke, pop.
Yeah.
done. Not gonna happen. I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, and that ties in with what you were saying with it just kind of coming out of left field. Yeah, just, it's not gonna happen. And they did somewhat of a good job. You know, she had the electrode, so his muscles didn't atrophy. She was rolling around, so there's no bed sores. But still, there would be something.
Overall, you'd do something wrong once.
You'd slip up, you'd mess up. Yeah, you would.
Well, and even just the fact that he didn't mess up, so he's been like catatonic, vegetable, whatever, non-responsive for 6 months or however long it was when he was in the hospital and all this stuff. Wakes up and he's a murderer that day.
Well, okay, all right. So actually, this is, you brought up a very good point here.
There was no hint towards that either.
No, because I will fully accept that he's psycho nuts, obsessed with his stepmom. No problem. That's
Something
good.
happened in the frontal lobe that screwed him up. That's fine.
Well, he's just a lonely heart up 18-year-old kid. Whatever, that's fine. I get that. But what I don't get is the leap from that to cold-blooded murderer, because he kills her psychiatrist buddy in his face. Cold-blooded murder. Contrary to popular belief, it's not that easy
and the love
to
interest,
just.
Doug.
Oh, and him too, but off screen, which is another big problem. Because,
we just find the body.
He just finds the body. And we're supposed to connect that he killed him, but
why?
Why? Why not show it? Oh, well, no, it's PG-13. But no, contrary to popular belief, killing someone is not just a simple throwaway act that anybody could do because they're unhinged about their stepmom. That also broke all credibility for me.
And again, they did not hint towards maybe him in any of when he was a little kid and she's watching the videos of him.
Right.
Again, there could have been some weird videos, some hints.
The psychiatrist could have said, he's got tendencies, because I don't know. I mean, they could have done a bunch of things and they didn't.
And they could have done really subtle things. They didn't have to rewrite the entire movie. There could have been a little hint or two. And when it all came together, we would have been like, oh my God. What?
Right, yeah.
And this review could have been different.
Very different. But ultimately, probably what accounts for a lot of these issues. And I've harped on it again and again and again.
But this is proof.
This is proof. Yes, I got a little bit to back me up this time. This is a damn PG-13 movie for horror. And that doesn't work.
And it was an R-rated concept.
And that's actually specifically why this didn't work. You present the idea of a stepson romantically and sexually obsessed with his mother that's not PG-13. Period.
And they could have gone so much further with an R rating.
So much further. So much further. Yes, I mean, he could have forced himself on her. And then when you get into that PG-13 realm, then it gets silly. Because you take a hammer, you whack it over somebody's head. You know what happens? Skull cracks, blood bursts. It's a nightmare. Not in a PG-13 movie, however. In those, you get hit with a hammer and you're out cold for 2-3 minutes.
You're fine.
You've got a small scratch on the back of your head. No concussion. You're ready to rock and roll. And that is why you don't do PG-13 horror movies, because again, our point to that is that rips you out of the willing suspension of disbelief, because
that hammers hurt.
That hammers do a hell of a lot more damage.
Or my biggest issue with that is, and I loved that when she had the opportunity, she had a weapon, she full on just smashed him in the face.
Yeah.
There was no hesitation. I think that's great. However, so we get to kind of the end of the movie. She burns his hand on the stove and takes the frying pan and bashes him in the head with the frying pan.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But at this point, he had been trying to kill her and the little kid for a long time.
A few hours.
If someone had been trying to kill me for that long, and I get the opportunity to hit him with a frying pan, I'm going to keep hitting. I'm going to keep hitting until there's brains everywhere, the skull is unrecognizable. Why do people, they hit someone once and they're like, oh, they're on the ground, they're unconscious. Let me see if I can slowly get out of it. No, I'm smashing their skull in.
Yes, sage advice.
Why just keep hitting?
Yes.
Don't stop hitting. But we can't have gore because PG-13.
Precisely. Yeah,
Fine.
Exactly. Plus, that might actually be, hey, here's an idea. Maybe you've touched on something. How about someone makes a horror movie where they get creeped for an hour and a half and then they just wail on them and defend themselves and kill them dead? End of movie.
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it. All right, it's Pinhead times. Your generosity knows no bounds.
Oh, stop.
So let's see what you have to say on this one.
Okay. Well, this was also a little bit of a went back and forth on a couple things.
Okay.
And I did say in the likes they did something that I don't see
Okay.
very often in
Yes.
horror movies, if ever.
Right.
So props to that.
Okay.
However, they didn't even follow through on the concept, and there was a lot more potential here than there was actual movie, if that makes sense.
Agreed,
This,
totally.
could have been the movie of the year for me, but it was if they had followed through on
with
some of the
promises.
darker concepts in
Yes.
the movie, I think.
All right.
They didn't.
No.
And it just had a lot of, they did this, very feeling kind of after it was over.
Okay.
So with that, I am going to go a little bit low,
Okay.
with 1.5.
Oh, well, that's actually quite a bit low for you, anyways. Not that I'm not
I hate
complaining.
when I get excited and then disappointed, like it hurts.
Not complaining, not at all.
Hurts.
Okay, so 1.5 from you. All right, and as far as I'm concerned, your generous nature holds because 1.5 is quite generous.
What?
Yes, it is.
I could go higher.
No, you couldn't. The only thing going for this movie is the squandered potential. That's it.
That's
Yes. Everything else, pretty much a fail for me. I'm not going to go with a bald head because of the potential. So for me, this is going to be half a pinhead.
Whoa! No, it really wasn't that bad.
It was that bad. It really was. Yes. Bratty 13-year-olds next to me or not, it was still that bad. So, this is actually going to be pretty easy. Your 1.5 pinheads, my half pinheads, that's going to make this a 1 pinhead movie. Okay, well, we pretty much brutalized this one, but what did you think? Let us know in the comments section right there below.
And also, we have all of our social media links on top. Post
yeah.
plenty of pictures while we're out doing stuff.
Yeah.
And also, subscribe to our channel so we can keep bringing you these obviously awesome reviews.
Without question. You know what? Actually, I was going to talk to you about this. Speaking of being non-responsive, if I had Naomi Watts rubbing my chest in the tub,
Stop.
my